Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is day number 14 of Into the Meadow, and I feel like I'm really back in the meadow again. So this is like very nice. It's a good feeling, and I'm really glad about it. You see me holding my tarot cards. As I said, I'm not very good with tarot. I love these cards though, so I just thought I would shuffle them a little bit and see if I can pull a few cards today and see if I can actually do so on my messy table where you don't see everything that is here, but hopefully it'll work and I can do this. But as I said, I'm not very good with tarot, but I feel drawn to pulling a couple of cards anyway because I love this deck and I think that the cats are adorable. So the cards are called Cat Tarot, and I'm going to give these a good shuffle and then I'll pull a couple of cards as just to see if this actually does work. Okay, so hopefully I'll pull something that I actually know the meaning behind it, because sometimes I don't always know the meanings, but I try to go with what Spirit tells me and what the energy is with the cards. But I do like tarot a lot. I follow a lot of tarot readers on YouTube, and I enjoy watching their readings, and I enjoy hearing what they have to say about them. And their readings are also not always in line with what the cards scientifically mean. They go with energy. They go with what the energy is telling them. So that's what I'm going to do for today. What can we look forward to today? And I will keep shuffling until somebody tells me to stop. And hopefully they will in a minute. So. These cards are really great though, so hopefully I'll get a lot of new ones so that you can see some really cute cards. The cats are amazing and the drawings are really good. So, okay, Nigel said to stop, so I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to turn the camera around and see what we get. Okay, so just a second. Okay, you get part of my thing here. So the first card that I pulled up for today is the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles is the kitty getting treats. And let's see if I can get a little closer. There we go. This is the Ace of Pentacles, and the cat's getting some treats. I kind of interpret this, the energy is kind of telling me that there's something good coming and we just have to wait for it and hope for the best. But again, I'm not really sure what to make of the card. But I love the card. I mean, what can I say? It's a cat. But at any rate, that's the first card that I've pulled up. And let me pull another card and see if I can kind of connect these. The Two of Swords. Well, the Two of Swords is kind of a decision, I think, that people have to make. So they have to they have to make up their minds about something. And I think that this makes me understand what's going on here. There's a lot of stuff happening in the news right now where people are going to have to make some decisions, whether it's to resign from their position or to basically decide what they're going to do, what the next step is going to be. And so this usually is a crossroads, and it's usually a crossroads decision. And so I think that in reference to what's happening in the world, the Two of Swords is kind of that juncture where you have to make up your mind and decide to do something and whether or not to go through with it. And, you know, in the Rider-Waite deck, it has the image of the two people or the person holding the two swords and trying to determine which one she's going to take. And in this one, I think it's the cat's teeth, because I see just two teeth there in the cat's mouth as opposed to the swords. So we have the cat's teeth that are going, what am I going to do now? Meow. Okay, so that's where I got on that. Okay, the next card, the Ace of Swords. And this one's like really cute because their cat's getting their little claws cut. And again, swords energy, you know, this is going to see what's going to happen with that. little bit stunned that I got two ace cards in two different. I got the ace of pentacles and the ace of swords. Whoops, the cards are falling everywhere. Okay, let's see if I can get this one back up here. Okay, and that's two. Here it is. Here's the other one. So they came in this direction. There we go. So I don't have something to hold it up, so I'm just holding it up myself. So so that's, with those two cards, it's kind of interesting. Both aces as kind of figuring on the beginning, the start of something new, the new experiences, new things coming up, and in relation to making a decision. So that's where I'm at here. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back around and we can go into the meditation. There we go. Okay. Yeah, but the cards are the Cat Tarot. This backwards again because I had to reverse the camera, but this is Cat Tarot, and I love this deck, and I think it's just adorable. So, I mean, anytime I can show off the kitties, I will take. So anyway, so we're on day number 14. Today is March 26, 2025, and I said, this morning I woke up feeling like a shift had occurred during the night. Is my sensation about it accurate? And Sunshine says, trust yourself. Yes, the shift is accurate. You will notice that as the day goes by, you will see that it is, in fact, happening. You are going to continue to experience this as your vision begins to show more and more clarity. And the vision that she's referring to is the one I had last week. You have to check about a week ago on the meditation to find out what the shift is. Okay, back to the meditation. Sorry about that, but anyway. Okay, I said, it's wild. Online psychics are saying that this is what is happening. People are saying that there is something going on. I tried to use the rods yesterday, but felt stumped. And Sunshine said, your questions were too vague. Try shorter questions and stick to the points. Like, ask if things will change. You already know the answer intuitively. Things will change because the world is in a constant state of change. I said, yesterday I asked a card reader about the accelerated time frame, and she said that there is not an accelerated time frame happening. I think she made a great lot of sense in her reading, but I wanted to ask about that. Is there an accelerated time stuff going on? Sunshine says it's a matter of perception. You perceive that time is accelerated because so much is happening. Let me put it out there in this way. You go to a doctor and you have to wait an hour to be seen. What does time do? I said, it crawls. I feel like I've been sitting there for an hour, but maybe two, but only 30 minutes has passed. When I am here speaking to you, time just flies by. And Sunshine says, yes, as in time flies when you're having fun. I know that this isn't fun, that this isn't fun, but bear with me. You say that time is accelerated, but that is because so much is happening. 2 years ago, you said, I wish the justice system would actually work. But it's not because it seemed as though nothing is happening. You sense that time is just crawling by, akin to sitting in a waiting room at the doctor's office. When you go to your sewing circle and make a dress or work on something that you enjoy, the entire time just whirls by, and suddenly that 2 hours has passed and you're saying, where did the time go? You perceive that time as accelerated because there is so much activity. The news cycle is exactly the same. You are getting a plethora of information, and it feels like that it is out of control. The truth is, time is constant. It passes by in the same manner as always. Your perception of it is either fast or slow. That is why some people are saying that time is not accelerated. They understand that the passage of time is a constant. That does not take away the feeling of it being shot out of a cannon, per se. It just means that the events that are keeping humanity busy are aligned with the perception that time is rushing by. Boredom is that notion that time crawls. Nothing is happening and people are stuck in a sort of waiting room. So while it feels like the time is accelerated, it's really not. It's just your perception of it that is. And I said, I guess there are people that hope things slow down. Yesterday, Nigel and Ramon picked nits about the notion of change. Can we talk about that in relation to time? Nigel said that things would change by the end of the year. The change then changed his wording to shift. But isn't shift and change the same thing? Sunshine says, yes, shift is a movement, which does imply change. But let's break both of them down a little bit. A shift would be something big, as it could be something or it could be something very small. The shift in thinking could be something as simple as, instead of using a brand of soap, changing the brand because the first one dried your skin. This is a small thing. You might, in time, notice that by selecting another brand of soap, that your skin responds to it in a better way. Some may call that changing brands and associate that with change. It is, for all intents and purposes, a minor shift in behavior. The same could be said about you not doing certain things because it was not the right thing to do. You know in your heart of instances when you shifted your behavior. I said, that sounds convoluted. Maybe we can try another example. The soap thing does not feel like it's hitting, although I can sort of understand. And Sunshine says, okay, some time ago you went to the doctor and complained that you wanted to lose weight. You said that you were totally depressed about this. The doctor asked you if you were exercising, and you hedged but said yes. Then she asked about your diet. You truthfully answered that you were trying to cut back on various foods. The doctor made note of that and said you should see a nutritionist. So you go home still depressed but submit your paperwork to see a nutritionist. But you haven't done this. What changed for you? And I said, well, I started walking a lot. And within the 3 months, my weight had gone down 10 kilograms, about 20 pounds. In December, I had lost 10 kilos and now 3 months later, I am back at doing my daily walks and feeling good. My diet hasn't changed a great deal because I don't eat a lot, but the weight is slowly going down. And Sunshine says, what you did was decide to shift your lifestyle to more mobility, but the shift created the change, as in your weight went down. Now, because you like the fact that you are healthier, you've decided to adapt to these changes. Shifting things makes way for desired change. So when Nigel said that change would happen by the end of the year, he was inaccurate. The change is now, and the shift is the result of that change. And I said, wait a minute. You just said that it shifted my life by walking, but wasn't that a change? Is the change the underlying result of my decision? I'm confused. Is a change what creates a shift, or a shift what creates change? And Sunshine says it's both. You can experience a change which will which will encourage a change, but you can also change something that will encourage a shift. What is happening in terms of worldly events is that a person or a world leader is making a decision that will dramatically change the lives of the people around him. When the people have had enough of these forced changes, the ideologies and actions of the people will create the shift. So when we discuss the notion of change, it does have an impact on a shift in consciousness. Nigel has told you that by the end of the year, there will be a shift in consciousness. I said, is that good or bad? And Sunshine says, both and neither. And I said, oh, come on, Sunshine, give me something more. You said I shouldn't be so vague with that dowsing rods, but now you are being vague. And she said, no, I'm telling you that depending on your perception will determine if it is a good or bad shift or action. If you want to see the people rise up and defend themselves, then the answer is good. If you support the notion of people and speech being suppressed, then the answer is bad. You see, good and bad are subjective based entirely on perception. We cannot tell you how to perceive something. We can only tell you that the outcomes will be X, Y, or Z. Now, if you ask about what will be the concrete outcome, we will tell you that the people will find the courage to stand up for themselves, the communities, and their well-being. You have heard the statement, be the change you wish to see. Well, that is what people will do. I said, okay, so can we talk about my vision in relation to the news that is unfolding? I saw Jack Smith in my vision. Will he be returning to the States? And Sunshine says he already has. Jack Smith has been looking at the goings-on in the States since he left late last year. He did not pack up and his ball and go home. He's been on the job, which is why you saw him in your vision. I said, is he back because of the chat room thing? And Sunshine says, the chat room is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much happening that the general public does not yet know about. The issues will not just involve the security of the country, but also the role of a certain billionaire. They are now afraid of what will come out. I said, is this now in relation to the chess match that we all spoke about a week ago? Are the players in this fiasco now being removed from the game? And Sunshine says, in a manner of speaking, the game is a strategic and methodological event playing out. The idea is to make certain that given their roles in government and global leadership, the men in your vision were not only safe to do something, but can do so while maintaining their lanes with regard to it. And I said, was the reporter in my vision? I'm asking because there were so many people I saw, many of whom I do not know. And Sunshine says, yes, he was one of them. And I said, is he safe? Sunshine says, yes, but he is exercising a great deal of caution. He does understand what this means, the repercussions of his involvement. I said, this all sounds really too stupid to be real. Here I thought the Keystone Cops were fiction and Get Smart was just a parody of a TV show. Now we are seeing the people joking about this stuff, but it's really serious. And Sunshine says, yes, it is. And this will cause some of the dominoes to start falling. The chess game you discussed with the creator has begun. Now all you can do is wait for the final outcome. This will be a huge event when it ultimately reaches its conclusion. I said, will it bring about enough people to recognize that they've been coerced by a charlatan? And Sunshine says, yes, it will. People will have to stop and recognize that they have been duped by a manipulator. Once they do that, then they will be able to use their voices to create the change. It is essentially about light workers waiting for them to catch up. The problem of people have a hard time admitting that they were wrong. The ability to acknowledge that they had been manipulated is going to take time, the time necessary for that great shift to happen. When they start to see what has happened, they will have to acknowledge that they are not perfect. But the truth is, no one is perfect. Sometimes, in order for people to see that they had been duped, is for them to lose what they have. That is, in essence, what the whole FAFO concept is about. It is not that you take glee in seeing these people get hurt, but it is the idea that when they receive their karma, it might move the entirety of the consciousness in the U.S. to experience that shift that the rest of the world is waiting for. I said, I kind of get the impression that waiting seems like it is taking forever, and the time feels like that it is fast forwarding to the moment we are waiting for. Sunshine says, and we have now come full circle. Just wait and see what happens. But there will be more, and as the Creator said, the vision you had will have more clarity as time goes by. I said, thank you, Sunshine. I feel today like I am truly back in the flow. The past 2 days have been really grueling for me. I am grateful that we have been able to get a little bit away from all the craziness going on. And Sunshine says, glad to be of service. And don't worry, you don't have to do anything. Just wait for the others to catch up. They eventually will. For what it's worth, some of the people who insulted and hurt you are now starting to realize the truth for what it is. And I said, they may realize something, but I have no desire to provide them with the wood to rebuild that bridge. And Sunshine says, good girl. I said, thank you. And I'm sending light to you and the world. I guess that is the extent that I can do. It sure feels good to be back in the meadow. And Sunshine says, it is always your choice, but you were never at the edge of it. You are always in it, even when you were feeling sad. You just access it in any given moment. Just don't forget that. And I said, I won't. And that is the end of the meditation. So and now these cards actually do make some sense. Oh, where are they? Where did I put them? Probably back in the bottom here. No. Oh, where are those cards? Man, okay. Oh, there they are. There were. Okay. These cards actually make a little bit more sense now. And I think that, actually they came in this direction. So I think that they make some sense in context in the context of this meditation. They do make sense about decisions, change, and moving forward. And I think that as people do change and move forward, they will realize that they do have choices, and that the choices will have ultimate outcomes. So that is my read on it. But yes. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for staying with me till the end of the meditation. And if you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It helps with all that algorithm stuff. And I'm not looking to get a gazillion followers, but I would like to at least reach 100 by the end of the month, or maybe by the start of next month. But if you like this, please share it, and please stay tuned, because I do try to come on every day with a 20-minute or 15-minute meditation journal write-up thing here. And but I wish you a wonderful day, regardless of my waffling. I hope that you have a great day, and thank you, as always, for being a part of this. And take care. And as always, namaste.